This is chapters 6 through 10 of Amy's section of Lock the Doors. 6. I need you to look after Will, Mom says. For how long? I ask. As long as it takes. I don't ask what it is because Mom doesn't like talking about work. Well, she does, but only on the phone and only to other people. Bending down to my brother, she says, "Be good for Amy, okay?" He nods hard and pushes his lips together like he does whenever he makes a promise. It won't be long, Mom tells me. Thank you. We wave goodbye, then watch TV until Will says, I'm bored. You can tell how bored he is by how many O's he uses, so I turn the TV off and say, let's play outside. He jumps up and runs to the back door, and I have to wrestle his coat on and force a hat over his head because it's not summer anymore. What shall we play? I ask. Creatures, he says, so I tell him about everything that lives in the places we can't see. He searches the bushes and climbs the apple tree, and I just watch because it's harder to enjoy yourself when it's cold. Eventually I say, come on, it's time to go inside, and Will pretends he can't hear me. When he does it to Mom or Dad, it's funny, but my cheeks are tingling, and I'm a bit annoyed because Mom's still not back and it's been ages. Come on, I shout, but he doesn't come. When he was a baby, we'd say, we're going now, and he'd chase after us and shout, no, 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 no. But now he knows the difference between real threats and pretend ones, and that's a problem when you want him to behave. I could go and get him, but then he'd cry, so I say, I'm going inside, and I don't look back. I can see him from the patio doors. He knows I'm watching because sometimes he checks just to be sure, then carries on playing creatures. My phone pings and it's a message from Keisha saying, I'm bored, what are you doing? And I smile because it feels like everyone is bored and it's my job to entertain them. I take my phone back to the windows so I can reply, but Will's gone. I run outside and shout his name, but he doesn't answer, so I look in all the places we hide. He's not in the shed or the garage or the bushes. He's not anywhere. I go back inside and check his bedroom and the bathroom and every other room, and my heart is beating too fast. It hurts in my chest and I start to cry because I'm in charge and he's not here. Will, I yell inside and out. Where are you? That's when I see it, and I'm happy because I know where he is. I look through the hole in the fence and call his name again. I know you're in there, William. Are you looking for the Queen? I climb through the hole and look left and right, but all I can hear is the pumping station humming and water sloshing. And then I see him. 7. He's doing that thing again where he pretends he can't hear me. He has his head down and he's moving funny, and that's when I realize he's in the water. Will, I whisper because sometimes he listens better when you're quiet. But he doesn't look up, he just moves from side to side. It sounds like he's in the bath, except there are no toys and it's cold, and my brother still has his face in the water. Get out, I say, and when he doesn't, I grab his arms and pull him hard, then harder, until I fall back and he lands on me. What were you doing in there? I ask. I said, what were you doing? He's heavy and he doesn't get off, and when I push him, he falls to the side and lies still. Will? His eyes are open, but he can't see me. He's looking at the sky and his lips are blue. I know what I need to do, but I've forgotten. I push on his chest and blow into his mouth. I push on his chest and blow into his mouth. I push on his chest and it's not working. On the TV, it works, but I can't do it. I shout for help, but no one comes. Will has a cut on his head, so I wipe the blood away with my finger. I can still help him if I stop the bleeding. I need to call an ambulance, but I don't want to leave him. He's too cold and too wet, and I've already left him too long. I try to pick him up, but he's so heavy. I'll be right back, I whisper. I'm just going to get my phone. I crawl through the fence and run toward the house, and that's when I see Mom in the living room by the patio doors. She's saying something I can't hear. She looks angry because she saw me come out of the hole and we're not allowed in there. I'm sorry, I say, and I think Mom can hear me through the glass because her face changes. Where is he? She says, and I can't reply because I don't like the answer. So I cry and she runs outside and past me to the hole, and then the world goes black. 8. What happened? Mom asks, but I can't tell her because I only know some of the answers. She holds my arms too tight and shakes me and says, tell me what happened. Will isn't behind the fence anymore. He's in his room, but not like he used to be. I know what that means, and Mom does too because she cried a lot before she spoke to me. Have you called an ambulance? I ask, and she shakes her head. It's too late for that, she whispers. That makes me cry, and she grips me tighter and says, don't you dare. This is your... I think I know what she was going to say, and I don't like it because it's not true. I didn't tell Will to go through the hole. I said we should never disturb the Queen, but he tried to find her, and something happened, and he fell in the water. That's what I know, so I tell Mom, and she takes lots of deep breaths and says, okay, I need to think. She's still thinking when Dad gets home, and she tells me to stay in my room while they talk. I hear noises I don't like and Dad's voice coming through the floorboards. Mom's crying again, and I hate myself because this is my fault. I was supposed to look after him, but I walked away. I wasn't watching him, and now he's gone. I sit on the stairs so I can hear my parents better, and Mom is saying, but she's 11, and I left her alone with a 4-year-old. How does that look? They'll take her away from us. I'm sure of it, and they'll charge me with... My foot makes the step creak, and my parents come to the bottom of the stairs and look up at me. Dad's face is scary. He always looks tired when he comes home from work, but tonight he seems different. Mom's face is red and blotchy, and I want to hug her, but don't know if I'm allowed. I'm sorry, I whisper, and Dad comes towards me. I'm scared, but he lifts me up and hugs me, and his tears make my shoulder wet, but I don't complain. Over his shoulder, I see Mom and think of what she said about them taking me away. I don't want to go, I say. Dad says, you're not going anywhere, Amy. We love you, and we'll keep you safe. They said that about Will, too, and he's not safe anymore, but I believe Dad because I have to. What are you going to do? I ask. Dad puts me down and looks at my brother's bedroom door. I don't know yet, he says, but it'll be okay. Chapter 9. They take Will away when I'm at school. I didn't want to go, but Mom says, you have to, darling. We must pretend that everything's fine. Why are we pretending? I ask. I've lost one of you. I can't lose both. You understand that, don't you? We'll be in trouble if anyone ever finds out. Dad drove me to school, and at the gate he said, are you all right? The answer was no, but I nodded because it was easier than lying out loud. Will's bedroom is weird now that he's gone. It's as if he's haunting it, because I can still feel him there. Sometimes I hear his voice, but it must be in my head. I have nightmares, so I sleep in my parents' bed, and sometimes one of them wakes up screaming. I thought you grew out of bad dreams, but I was wrong because Mom's screams are the worst. When I wake up, I think he's still here, and then I remember the truth, and I don't like life anymore. Mom and Dad's smiles aren't really smiles. I know they're trying for me, but I wish they wouldn't. I wish they'd just be sad all the time so I know what they're saying is real. That's why I like it when Mom sits on the end of my bed and cries and says, I want you to do something. You might think it's bad, but it's actually good. It doesn't matter what she wants me to do. I'm happy that she's being honest, and I say, okay, we'll need to practice, Mom says. You can't get this wrong. What happens if I get it wrong? I ask, and she cries a bit more. Then I'll lose you as well. Chapter 10. Watch closely, Mom says. This is really important. We're in town, but we're not shopping. We're looking at people in secret. Not all moms are good moms, she says. That's what we're waiting for. A bad mom? I ask. Exactly. But we also need to find a boy that looks like... Her voice wobbles, and she looks down at me and says, I'm sorry. I don't know what she's apologizing for, but I say it's okay. She smiles and says, we need to find a boy that looks like Will. Why? Because we're going to save him. Mom's eyes are wet, so I give her a tissue. She hugs me and says, it's all going to be okay. They both keep saying that, and I want to believe them, but I don't. How can it be okay when my brother is dead, and it's my fault, and my parents are so sad? And now Mom is talking about things I don't understand. What are we saving him from? I ask. Mom pushes her lips against my ear, and it tickles, but I don't laugh because nothing is funny anymore. We're saving him from a bad life, she whispers. We're going to give someone what Will had. She seems strange, and I have to look away. Like that boy, she says. See how his mom isn't paying him any attention? Anyone could take him if they wanted to. But that's wrong, I say. It is wrong, but not if you're rescuing him. All afternoon, Mom points out the good parents and the bad ones. She tells me what to look for, like people on their phones and kids being allowed to wander off. She says not everyone is cut out to be a parent, and I block out the tiny feeling pushing through because she left me on my own with Will, and I didn't want that. At dinner, Mom says, tell your dad what we learned today, and it feels like a trick. I stare at her, and she says, it's okay. Your father and I have discussed it, and we think it's for the best. But the look on his face says something else. He just stares at the table until I ask to get down. When he kisses me goodnight, I ask if he's angry, and he says, no, sweetheart, I'm not angry with you. Mom wants me to. It's okay, I know what your mom wants, but you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. There's a noise behind him, and she's standing outside my room and doesn't look happy. He kisses me again and closes the door, but I open it and listen to them arguing. We need help, Dad says. This won't solve anything. You're wrong, Mom says. This is the only solution. What do you want to do? Tell the police that our son is dead because I left him with our daughter and we hid it for weeks because... Why? They won't believe me. It will be the end of us. I can't sleep because my eyes sting. I stay in my own bed even though I need a cuddle and think of Will. Dad said I don't have to, but I do. There are only 3 of us left and it feels like we're falling apart.